Welcome back to the Comfy Show. We tell it is we don't care you feel, and we got Miami going on the road to take on Texas A&M, the Hurricanes versus the Aggies. Before we jump into this video, I have made a preview and prediction video of all the other first-round matchups. So if you're interested in those, want to check those out, those are on my channel. So just swing by and look at those. But let's jump into this game. This is a Saturday noon kickoff game. Not the greatest kickoff for this game. You start out the weekend on a Friday night with Alabama going on the road to take on Indiana, a great matchup, or not Indiana, Oklahoma, a great matchup. And then you start off Saturday with another great matchup at noon with Miami going on the road to take on Texas A&M. And then you finish off the night, the mid game, and then the night game with Oregon and JMU, and then Ole Miss and Tulane. So they got to fix that. Look, I know these times were already selected, already determined before we found out who was actually going to the playoffs, but this sucks. You start off the weekend with great games, and then you finish it off with a bunch of group of fives. Hopefully this gets corrected in the future, but either way, let's get into this game. So going into this game, like I said, it is a home game for the Aggies. So over there in Kyle Field, Miami's going to have to travel on the road to take on the Aggies. Miami, or Texas A&M, opens up as a 3.5-point favorite at home, and the over-under for this game, depending on where you look, is right around 48.5 points. That's what I saw when I looked at it. Both of these teams, Miami is sitting at 10-2 with a couple of bad losses to Louisville, 24-21, and then SMU, 26-20. And then Texas A&M has the one loss to Texas at the end of the season, 27-17. They were on the road when they lost that. So both of these two teams do have losses. Miami has a couple, and obviously Miami's notable win is against Notre Dame. We all know the story with Miami and Notre Dame before the playoffs. Who was going to get in? Should Notre Dame get in? Should Miami get in? Look, Miami should have got in Notre Dame. If you had one spot left, you have to put Miami in. They have the same record, and Miami beat Notre Dame head-to-head. There's no other questions about it. And Notre Dame fans, don't come like, oh, well, if you put us on a neutral site field right now, we would win. We'd be favored. Well, you were favored the first time, and you still lost. So it is what it is. Maybe don't lose 2 games and you make the playoffs, or maybe join a conference, win your conference, and you'd make the playoffs. If Notre Dame fans, you want to be mad about something, be mad that JMU and Tulane both got in over you. That's where you should be mad. But nonetheless, those are Miami's losses, Louisville and SMU. Like I said, they're not good losses. And then Texas A&M did lose to Texas there at the end of the regular season. Both of Miami losses come off a game where Carson Beck has multiple turnovers. That is the story with Carson Beck. We'll start with Miami's side of this. Obviously, Carson Beck used to be the quarterback at Georgia. He transferred last season to Miami. He took over the starting quarterback role for Miami this year. And the same story that has plagued him last season showed up this season. Turnover machine. And here's the thing with Carson Beck. When Carson Beck doesn't just have a 1 turnover game. When Carson Beck throws an interception, he usually has a couple more. I'm pretty sure ever since he started, go back and look at all of his games. He's never just had a 1 interception game. It's either been 2 interceptions, 3, 4 interceptions, and that's how these 2 losses came for the Canes. They lost to Louisville, multiple game interception. I'm pretty sure he had 3 or 4 interceptions. He got bailed out on 1 with a penalty call. And then obviously the SMU game, the overtime game that they lost 26-20, driving down the field, looking like they're about to score. And Carson Beck throws an interception on the 1-yard line in the end zone right there. Game over, SMU wins. That has been the story of this Miami team. Now, when Miami gets it together, when the defense is playing the way that they're playing and Carson Beck has a good game, this Miami team is a real threat. Not just a threat to win 1 game. They could be a real threat to win it all. Texas A&M, I think Texas A&M is overall very overrated. I'm just going to say what it is. Texas A&M is, you look at their record, and you're like 11-1. They're a great team. Yes, they are a good team. There's a reason they made the playoff. Don't get it twisted. But Texas A&M has played the bottom half of the SEC. And when I mean the bottom half of the SEC, they have. The one time that they played a team that is not in the bottom 6 of the SEC, Texas, they lost. So I thought all season long that this Texas A&M team, while yes, they can put up some points, I kind of felt like they've been a little overrated, in my opinion. Obviously, they have the good win earlier in the season against none other, Notre Dame. Funny. Both of these two teams have beaten Notre Dame. So, but besides that, I mean, this is Texas A&M's SEC schedule this season. Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU, Mizzou, South Carolina, Texas. They should have lost to South Carolina. South Carolina put up just 2 points in the second half. They win that game. South Carolina was up big time in the first half. Come out second half, they put up a goose egg, a straight goose egg in the second half. And Texas A&M found a way to win. They're able to put up some points. South Carolina couldn't get anything going. So, Texas A&M is lucky to only have the one loss because they played the bottom half of the SEC. But either way, I think that this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be relatively close. And the story of this game, I think, is the key for both of these teams to win is going to come down to one thing only. Which Carson Beck decides to show up in this game. Do we get primetime Carson Beck where he is slinging it around the yard and he is on point, on time, on target, the guy can't miss? We've seen that. As a Georgia fan, I've seen him do that. If that Carson Beck shows up, Miami wins this game. If multiple turnover Carson Beck shows up, Texas A&M is going to win this game. You cannot give this Texas A&M team any extra possessions because they can put up points and they will put up points on you. And if you give them extra possessions, it's basically game over, especially that this is a home game for Texas A&M. I know it's a noon game, but I expect that crowd to be rocking, to be rolling. Home of the 12th man, the pretend college school, military school down there. But even if it's a noon kickoff, it's still going to be loud. So A&M is coming into this as a 3.5-point favorite. Miami is a 3.5-point underdog. The over-under is 48.5 points. I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm taking the over on that. I think there's going to be a lot of points put up in this game. You're probably looking at like a 37-31 type game. I would not be surprised if one of these two teams gets over 40 points. I'm actually kind of shocked that the over-under is only at 48.5. I expect both of these teams to put up a lot of points in this game. And as a Georgia fan, I was a little bitter the way that Carson Beck left the Dogs. Now, I don't care about transferring. It is what it is. We live in a world where players transfer all the time. You got to get used to it. It's not the fact that he transferred. It's the way that he decided to transfer. You declare for the draft, you thank everybody at Georgia, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, nope, I'm not going to the draft. I'm not declaring for the NFL. I'm actually transferring to Miami, making the big bucks. Hey, it is what it is. The man's getting paid. So putting that aside, I think that the Carson Beck that is dialing it up and on point, I think he shows up in this game. I think that this Miami team is a little ticked off. They've been doubted a lot, as, they should have been. But I think that Carson Beck, the good Carson Beck, shows up in this game. I am putting my faith in Carson Beck one final time. And Carson Beck, if you go out there and you throw 3 interceptions, I will never root for you again. Please don't make me regret pulling for Carson Beck as a Dog fan. I think that this Miami team goes in there, and I think they put up a lot of points. I think Carson Beck he has a really good game, and I think at the end of the day, it's just too much for this Texas A&M team to handle, and they've struggled recently. Like I said, that game against South Carolina, they should have lost that game. If South Carolina put up any points in the second half, they lose that game. The second they go up against a competitive team in the SEC, a team on their level, they lose. So I am going to go with the Canes. I'm going to take Miami. I'm going to take Carson Beck to go into Kyle Field, several touchdowns through the air, maybe, pick up a couple of first downs with his legs. I think they're going to have a good day running the ball. So against my better judgment, I'm taking Carson. I'm taking the Canes. Give me Miami to go on the road to beat Texas A&M. The winner of this game will go on to play Ohio State. If it is Miami, they're going to go on to play Ohio State, I believe, in the Cotton Bowl. So that is who I'm taking. Carson Beck, please don't make me regret making me do this. Now, I will say, if Texas A&M does win this game, I would not be shocked. But give me the Canes. We'll see. Over and out.